Good morning. We're having oatmeal this morning. I used the steel cut oats. Sometimes I do old fashioned oats, but today I'm using steel cut oats, and I tripled the recipe. So whatever 3/4 times 3 is, what is that? 2 1/4? I don't know. I'm too tired to do math right now, but so I brought 3 times of 3/4 cups of water to a boil with some salt. And then once that boiled, I put 3/4 cup of steel cut oats in, and I just let that kind of simmer. And then I've added just a couple of things. I added a splash of heavy cream. I added a splash of water to thin it out. I added about 3 tablespoons of peanut butter, maybe a couple tablespoons of brown sugar, and a little bit of maple syrup. So we're gonna serve this up. Usually I might put bananas on top or some blueberries or something, but we don't have any, so just oatmeal. We've got more real life here, and I just wanted to share it because I was just talking with somebody about homeschool and sometimes what it really looks like. And sometimes this is what it really looks like. It looks like having a toy in the floor or several toys for the baby to play with. So that I can help everybody else get their work done. So everybody's taking a little break outside, but this is sometimes what real homeschool looks like. All right, I should have already gotten this started before now, but I'm gonna go ahead and get the chicken in the crock pot. This was the chicken that I was gonna make yesterday. I've never made this recipe before, but I've made stuff similar to this. So it's just chicken broth and spices, and it will be like a shredded Mexican chicken, and we'll have it with rice, and then I'll freeze half of it for a later meal. Combine the spices in a small bowl, add chicken broth, then add the chicken breasts, pour half the seasoning over the chicken, flip, add the rest. Cook on low for 8 hours or on high for 4. What I'm probably gonna do is put it on high until we leave and go to our school activity for today. And then once we leave, I'll put it on low as we head out the door. And I think that'll work out just fine. So starting out with this chicken, I know that it calls for 1.5 pounds, and I know that chicken breasts can tend to be large, so I wanted to use my kitchen scale to make sure that I was accurately doubling the recipe. So I had 4 very large chicken breasts here, and I ended up only needing to use 3 of them, so I will use the 4th one for a later recipe in the week. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in my crock pot, and I know different people have different views on frozen meat in the crock pot, but I've done frozen meat in the crock pot many times and it turns out just fine. So I'm adding the chicken broth, and then after that I'm going to go in and add my spices and then just let this cook. Alright, we're doubling. One way that I save time with recipes that have a lot of spices is that oftentimes I will skip the step of mixing them in a separate bowl and then adding it all together. I find that if it's something like this or a sheet pan, I know that I can mix all of those things together and it's going to turn out just the same, and it saves me one more dirty dish. So that's just a small kitchen hack that I've done for a long time. Probably some of you do the same thing. So I'm stirring the meat around and just trying to get everything all evenly coated, and I know that as it cooks it will kind of melt down and sink further into the chicken broth, and again everything will get evenly mixed. I think there is such a peace in having a meal in the crock pot cooking, so that you know that that's one thing that you don't have to do for later. And especially in this case, since I am doubling and freezing, it's going to be nice knowing that I have this meat as we head into the busy month of December and all the joy that Christmas brings. So now that I've got that cooking, I'm going to continue on with my household duties and my mom duties. And of course that includes nourishing our son. So I nurse him several times a day, and It's just a joy to be able to get to bond with him in this way and to get to provide what he needs. We headed out for an errand that I'll tell you about, and we stopped for lunch on the way. Hey everybody, welcome back to another day of Vlogmas. So today has been interesting thus far. So we had oatmeal for breakfast like I showed you. I got the chicken in the crock pot so I can double and freeze that. We did homeschool this morning. I was able to do a little bit of math with my son and he did his grammar. And then I was able to do English with my daughter. And I could tell we were kind of going to be cutting close on time. On Wednesdays we do what we call outdoor learning day or park day, and it's basically like electives. And so it's not a full day and it's optional, but it's a program that we do and we enjoy it. So I had told the kids that at some point this week we might get Taco Bell, and that kind of be a little treat for us. And my mom was going to go with us to help with the baby, and so I said, why don't we just pick Taco Bell up and eat it on the way? Well, I also had to do a Facebook Marketplace pickup, so I didn't have a whole lot of margin. And I think that's just going to be the theme of this video, is I need some margin, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, we did the Marketplace pickup. We got Taco Bell. We ate it on the way there. And then upon getting there, my son told me he felt bad. And so we kind of debated, like, what should we do? Should we stay? Should we go? And ultimately, we just turned around and came back home. So we're home now, and I felt bad for them because I knew they wanted to stay and didn't want to miss out. But we have had a week this week, and it will continue, where we have something every night. Every time I start to talk, the baby starts talking. I don't personally like having weeks like that, where it's just like something every single night without breaks. And it's just so happened that this week is like that. Like every single night there's something. I don't think there's anything Saturday evening. So whenever I have weeks like this, it just kind of feels like I can't really come up for air. The good thing is this doesn't happen all the time. There are usually at least a few nights of the week that we have available. And I started a couple of years ago trying to either be home on Friday or be home on Saturday. I try to not have both of those busy because Sundays are also busy for us. And I found out really quickly, especially with the baby, if we do something Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night, I don't feel restored and ready for the next week. So all that being said, I think the name of the game is margin. I think what I'm really needing is just some space to breathe. I don't feel like 100% today either. So like, I hope that we're not getting sick, but we may be. I don't know, but I definitely think that a little bit of margin is nice. So we do have a little bit of time given back to our schedule this evening or this afternoon that I wasn't planning on having, because I thought we would be at outdoor day the whole time. And I was sharing with my younger sister that whenever you're a mom and you have extra time, it feels a bit like if you give a mouse a cookie, like I could do this and I could do this, I could do this. I said, I need to write a poem called If You Give a Mom a Moment, and just have her constantly, indecisive about what she could do. I have lots of things that I could and probably should do, but I think rest has to be right up there at the top. So I think what I'm going to do, my kitchen is kind of a mess. There are a lot of like homeschool papers, receipts, and paper clutter stresses me out. I think I'm going to take a few minutes and clean up the clutter, maybe like set a timer. And when I set a timer, it motivates me to get things done, but it also provides an end. Sometimes we could just keep working and working and working forever, and then we never do, get to prioritize rest or reading or whatever we're wanting to do. So I think I'm going to set a timer for maybe 15 minutes, and then I call it pencils down. Like when you're done, pencils down, no more cleaning, no more decluttering or whatever, organizing, and let's just rest. So I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to see if Abram wants anything to drink or whatever, but right now he's just laying down watching a movie, as he should be. When we did our little talent fair a couple weeks back, more than a couple weeks now, several weeks back, and we did those beeswax candles, somebody made earrings, and I purchased these, and I wore them today so they could see them, but they are such a design that they have this nice little hoop, and I'm just waiting for somebody to reach up and rip them from my ears. So I'm going to change out of these. So let's take this mess from this to this. Oh, if only it were that easy. It's important for us to remember that these messes that happen every day, these are oftentimes the messes that are the easiest to clean up. And it's easy if we do it every day and keep it from piling up. Sometimes it doesn't always happen, especially with a baby and especially in whatever season that you're in. But oftentimes, if we will set a timer, like I said, we can make those decisions a little bit quicker and a little bit easier. So I'm just going to go through and gather my school things. I keep my teacher's guides in a separate area from my kids' school materials, and that just kind of helps me to eliminate so much clutter in one spot. I had some chocolate pastries from Aldi in this cake carrier, and they really were kind of beyond their prime and nobody was eating them, so I let those go. And I found one straggler of a fall decoration plus some outside items, so I moved those over to the bench at the door so that they could be moved out to the shed. The chicken cooked up really nicely, and as you can see, it easily shreds with a fork. So now that I've gotten my timer cleaning done, I am doing exactly what I said I was going to and just spending a few minutes resting before I move on with the next phase of the day. So I'm going to get some rice going in the Instant Pot. I'll tell you about how I make this in a minute. Well, if my picture looks different at all, my camera died, so I'm using my phone. Actually, it seems like the picture might not be too bad at the moment. I have a crackling fireplace on that the kids put on. We just got all the groceries loaded in, all the cold stuff is up, and then the non-refrigerated things are still out, and we'll just have to put those away whenever I get home from teaching. I will show you how supper turned out. So here is the rice. This is just jasmine rice in the Instant Pot, and I make it the same way every single time, and it turns out perfect. I do 2 cups of jasmine rice, I rinse it, and then I add 2 cups of water, a tablespoon of coconut oil, and a teaspoon of salt. I put the lid on and seal it, and then I do pressure cook 5 minutes. And then once it cooks for 5 minutes and it goes to the L where it's staying warm, I let it stay warm and natural release for 10 minutes. And then I take the pressure off, and it is the most perfect, fluffy, delicious jasmine rice. This is how the chicken turned out, and the texture is fine. The moisture is fine, but I would like some more flavor. So I think as far as putting this in the freezer, this might be like a component to something else, like maybe that layered enchilada bake that was in the Pioneer Woman cookbook. That's so funny, I just turned right to it. This one, okay, Mexican tortilla casserole. Does it call for chicken? Okay, see, it calls for chicken cut into bite-sized pieces. I might just go ahead and make this up, but use the shredded chicken instead of the bite-sized pieces. So you put in your tomato, your garlic, your onion, your spices, and you cook all of that together. In my mind, I want it to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I keep having to, okay, it goes down, no. Anyway, so then you do the chicken. Let's see. Spoon the rice over the tortillas. What kind of rice is this? 3 cups cooked rice. Okay, so I could easily do that. Sprinkle the cheese on half. Yeah, you're making a sauce over the chicken, which like I kind of already have a sauce there. Stir in the beans, pour over enchilada sauce, and then add the salsa verde, sprinkle corn, tortillas. And so you're just layering it at that point. and then you add cheese on top. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking I might do that. That sounds pretty good to me. All right, so I'm getting ready to head out to teach lessons. Nobody's gotten sick. Praying that it stays that way. Feel very fortunate that right now everybody is feeling good. So I just want to send my heart out to anybody who is experiencing sickness, because it is just that time of year and it can be so rough and so discouraging. I had high hopes that we were going to get the tree decorated on Monday, and that didn't happen. So then today's Wednesday. I thought maybe it would happen today. I think Friday's going to be the day. I think there were too many things going on today, and it just, when I did have a few moments where we could have squeezed it in, number one, I didn't want to squeeze it. I wanted to be able to enjoy it. And then number two, I wanted to have a few minutes to lay on the couch, which I did, and that was nice. So I am just going to call it a vlog here. I might put some music clips in at the end if I have a moment to do that. And otherwise, I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching Vlogmas. Please click thumbs up and subscribe. I'll catch you tomorrow.